What's going on, everyone? It's Sports Stories. Welcome back to another video. I wanted to jump straight into this one and talk about the topic everyone's been discussing for the past 24 hours, which is Kevin Durant requesting a trade out of Brooklyn and Kyrie Irving wanting to leave as well. Now, while I do think Kevin Durant plays a huge role in the blame factor for wanting out of Brooklyn, that's really not an argument, but I really wanted to focus on Kyrie Irving in this video and why he might have potentially ruined the NBA with the antics he pulled in Brooklyn. Now, we all know Kyrie is no stranger to missing games. He's actually missed 41% of his team's games in the last 5 years. And in the past 3 years in Brooklyn, out of the 226 games he could have played, he only played 103. The main point I'm making in this video, and the reason why I think Kyrie low-key ruined the league, is because the Nets did nothing wrong and they made every possible accommodation they could have made to keep Kyrie Irving happy. And after all of that work they put in, he still wants to leave after just 3 short seasons and giving them nothing to show for it. Now, it's not breaking news that the players run the NBA and there's really no loyalty that players have to franchises, but I think this really takes it to a whole new level, and I'll explain why. So there's a report that Kyrie Irving is trying to force his way to the Lakers. Now, if you're the Nets GM or owner and you're thinking, okay, for the past 3 years, we signed this guy and we did every possible thing we could to keep him happy, and he gave us nothing, and now he wants to go to the Lakers, I'm making sure that that's the last possible destination he ends up, and the Nets have every right to not fulfill that request from Kyrie. Now we have a big problem where there's 28 other teams you could trade him to, but he doesn't want to play for any of them. And as we know how Kyrie is, if he doesn't want to play for a team, then he's simply not going to play. Now, if you're an owner of another team, you're going to think, why would I trade for this guy and trade my whole future away to Brooklyn, bend over backwards for him, do everything I possibly can to keep him happy, and he still just might leave after 2 or 3 years for no reason at all. I think it sets up a very poor dynamic for the NBA, and I think there's really rule changes that need to be made to make sure this doesn't happen again in the future. Because I do believe there's a player just simply wanting to leave a team, whether it's for money or they just want to win championships. I think that, you can have your own opinion about that. But this whole Kyrie thing, the whole point is he's just leaving for no real reason, and I think it's a big problem. I think Stephen A. Smith made a good point yesterday on ESPN, where he mentioned in the next collective bargaining agreement for the NBA, he believes owners are going to propose a Kyrie Irving rule that somehow punishes players who don't want to play their games for no real reason at all. I do say I have to agree with him because I think it's a problem the league needs to address, and there's really nothing stopping any other elite player from doing the exact same thing Kyrie did. Let's say Kawhi Leonard, since he's the best example I could think of, came out today and said, I request a trade from the Clippers. I know I chose to sign with them years back, and I know I've been injured, but I just want to leave. I'm saying more owners are going to stop trading a shitload of picks and young players or just signing players to massive deals if there's doubt in their minds that the player is going to be there for more than 3 years. And that's the dynamic that I think is going to implode the league unless there is rule changes that are made. And I'm not saying Kevin Durant is off the hook in this whole situation as well, because after all, he is doing the same exact thing Kyrie's doing, but he just played more games. But it's starting to become too big of an issue now where players' legacies are now being affected, where people are saying, okay, he was an amazing player, he's one of the best players of this generation, but his one flaw is that he never showed up to work. I'm even seeing people say that Russell Westbrook is a fair trade for Kyrie Irving simply because Westbrook shows up to the games. Like, that's how low the bar has become in the NBA, that a player's trade value is now being improved because he's doing his job. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about the situation. Let me know if I'm over-exaggerating or if I have a good point. Where do you think KD and Kyrie are going to end up? And I'll see you guys in the next one.